Name one feature every phone had in 2015 that almost none have today. Not a bigger battery, not a better camera, a hole, a 3.5 millimeter hole that did one job and did it perfectly. No charging required, no pairing, no firmware updates. You plugged in and it worked. Then Apple removed it. And they told you it was progress. And here's the weird part. You probably believed them. Because within just a few years, Samsung, Google, OnePlus, Huawei, they all followed. Not because the technology was bad, not because they ran out of space. The real reason is something none of them will say out loud. Let's run through the official story real quick. It's worth hearing how they tried to sell this. Apple's SVP Phil Schiller stood on stage in September 2016, looked at millions of people watching, and said removing the headphone jack came down to one word: courage. That was the actual word he used, courage. The audience didn't exactly erupt. Then came the technical justifications. They said the jack was taking up valuable space, that removing it allowed for a bigger Taptic engine, better water resistance, a larger battery. And sure, the iPhone 7's battery was about 14% bigger than the 6S. That's roughly 2 extra hours of use. But here's the thing, Samsung had been shipping water-resistant phones with headphone jacks for years. The Galaxy S7 was IP68 rated, fully waterproof, and it had a headphone jack. So water resistance wasn't the reason. And the space argument? A guy named Scotty Allen, a software engineer in Shenzhen, literally drilled a headphone jack into an iPhone 7 and made it work. He shoved the battery up a few millimeters, pushed the Taptic engine aside, and fit it in. There was room. Apple just chose to use it for something else. So if it wasn't about space and it wasn't about water, what was it about? Money. It was always about money. The headphone jack was the last universal open standard port on your phone. Any company could make a pair of headphones that plugged into any phone on the planet. No licensing fees, no certification programs, no permission needed. And that's exactly why it had to go. In 2014, Apple made its largest acquisition in company history. They bought Beats Electronics for $3 billion. At the time, Beats was the dominant brand in Bluetooth headphones. That purchase made Apple the biggest player in the wireless audio market overnight. 2 years later, they removed the headphone jack. And on that very same stage, at that very same event, they announced AirPods. $159 for a pair of wireless earbuds. Think about that sequence. You buy the biggest wireless headphone company on earth. Then you kill the port that makes wired headphones work. Then you sell your own wireless alternative. That's not courage. That's a business plan. And it worked spectacularly. AirPods now generate roughly $18 billion in revenue per year. That's more than the entire annual revenue of Spotify, more than Nintendo, more than eBay. A single accessory. One that exists partly because they removed a free universal port. And remember, they didn't stumble into this. Apple bought Beats 2 full years before the iPhone 7 shipped. The AirPods had to be in development well before that keynote. This wasn't a reaction to the market. It was a strategy, with the headphone jack removal as the trigger. What happened next is almost comical. Every competitor who mocked Apple ended up doing the exact same thing. Google unveiled the original Pixel in October 2016 with a slide literally bragging about its headphone jack, a direct shot at Apple. 1 year later, the Pixel 2 shipped without one. No explanation during the keynote. Nothing. Samsung was even bolder. They ran a whole ad campaign called Growing Up, showing an iPhone user frustrated with dongle life, finally switching to Samsung. Millions of views. Then in 2019, the Galaxy Note 10 arrived. No headphone jack. And Samsung quietly deleted the ads from their YouTube channel. OnePlus mocked Apple on stage during their 2017 launch. "Of course we have a headphone jack." The audience laughed. By 2018, the OnePlus 6T didn't have one. Their co-founder said it was the right time. Sound familiar? Every single one of them saw what Apple proved. Removing the jack doesn't hurt phone sales, but it creates an entirely new product category you can sell alongside every phone: wireless earbuds. And if you make both the phone and the earbuds, you capture revenue on both sides. Today, the wireless earbuds market is worth tens of billions of dollars a year, and it barely existed before 2016. That's not an accident. That's a market that was engineered into existence by removing a port. But the real play goes deeper than just selling earbuds. It's about ecosystem lock-in. The 3.5mm jack was an open standard. Anybody could use it. No fees, no chips, no certifications. But Lightning, that's Apple's proprietary port. Any company that wanted to make a Lightning accessory had to join Apple's MFI program and pay licensing fees on every single unit sold. So when Apple killed the headphone jack, they didn't just remove a port, they replaced an open door with a toll booth. Every adapter, every wired headphone, every accessory that used to just work now needed Apple's permission and Apple's cut. The 3.5mm jack was the last piece of your phone that didn't generate recurring revenue for anyone. And in a world where hardware margins are shrinking, that's unacceptable. And here's the trap. Once you buy AirPods, you're deeper in the ecosystem. They pair seamlessly with your iPhone, your iPad, your Mac. They work with Android too, but worse. No instant pairing, no spatial audio, no automatic switching between devices. The message is clear. These work best if you stay. Samsung, Google, and every other manufacturer learned the same lesson. Galaxy Buds work best with Samsung phones. Pixel Buds work best with Pixel phones. The headphone jack was the one port that didn't play favorites, and that's precisely why it had to die. So, knowing all of this, what do you actually do with it? You've got options. More than the manufacturers want you to think. If you care about audio quality, a USB-C DAC dongle costs about $10 to $15 and delivers better sound than any phone's built-in headphone jack ever did. Brands like Apple's own dongle, Meizu, or the TempoTech Sonata will let you use any wired headphone you already own. If you're going wireless, understand the codecs. AAC is what Apple uses. It's decent. aptX and LDAC, available on most Android phones, deliver higher quality. If audio matters to you, check what your phone actually supports before buying expensive earbuds. And if you game or make music on your phone, know that Bluetooth still has latency issues. A slight delay between what you see and what you hear. Wired connections don't have that problem. Never did. And if you're choosing a new phone, a handful of manufacturers still include the jack, Sony's Xperia line, some Asus ROG phones, Samsung's Budget A series. They exist. They just don't get the marketing budgets. The point isn't to reject wireless audio. Bluetooth earbuds are genuinely convenient. The point is to understand the difference between a feature being obsolete and a feature being removed so someone could sell you the replacement. The headphone jack worked perfectly for over 100 years. From telephone switchboards in the 1870s to the Sony Walkman to the phone in your pocket. It didn't need an update. It didn't need to be replaced. It needed to be removed. Because as long as it existed, you didn't need to buy anything else to listen to music on your phone. And in this industry, a feature that doesn't generate follow-up revenue is a feature on borrowed time. They called it courage. It was commerce.